This is Talking Trades. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the episode 3 of Talking Trades, the podcast that takes you through the world of trades in New England and beyond. I am your host, Kris Levesque, owner of New Horizon Media Inc., where the new is NU. And joining me is the greatest co-host that a podcaster could ask for, the Dr. Electrician Edward Rivera.
Yo.
Ion Electrical. We are recording on Friday, February 16th, 2024 in the incredible KW Metro studio located in Bedford, New Hampshire. Today we are continuing our journey in topics involved in the trades. Today we have a special guest. We're talking to a professional that is in the people labor business and wants to help bridge the gap between the missing manpower needs of a business and talk about an interesting concept of a temporary workforce. I want to welcome Don Demers of People Ready Skilled Trades to the show. Don, welcome to the show.
How you doing, brother?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity here, boys.
A long time coming.
Absolutely. Looking forward to this.
Wait, what's that? Do you hear that noise?
I hear nothing.
I hear something.
I hear nothing.
Oh my God, it's the masses. They have heard the call. There's amassing outside the studio right now. This is an incredible sight. The workforce has arrived. They are literally forming ranks by Don's commands.
Of course, if they're out there, they owe me a coffee. I was supposed to come to the podcast. You guys all are late for work. You owe me a coffee and a donut. And that'll be maple frosted, I'll tell you. I mean, frosted for me.
I mean, what a show. What a show of the capable workers.
Get back to work, boys. And girls. Yeah, leave you out.
Don rolls deep, man. It's deep. Brings the bodies. That's it. Brings the bodies.
You know, they just want to be everywhere I am. Yep. You know what I mean? What can I tell you?
Oh, I think they're all sitting down now. I think it's time for their coffee break.
Better get back to work, I'll tell you. We've got money riding on you, boys and girls.
So Don.
Kind of the whole reason why we're here, right?
That's right. That's true.
We're talking people.
Absolutely.
Talking trades.
People. Absolutely.
And skills.
And skills. Yeah, I got those too.
Yes.
I got those too.
Exactly. So I say let's jump into it, brother.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do this.
All right, so Don, why People Ready Skilled Trades? What drew you to work for this company?
Well, I think it's obvious, boys. I'm a people person. And while I was looking for some work in construction here, I was thinking of those possibilities and thinking outside the box. You know, I went into this knowing nothing about staffing, but my superpower is people. It really is. And I had the pleasure of meeting Alicia, who I call my gatekeeper, because she got me into the company. Because I knew if I got into the interview stages with this, I knew I was going to get into the company. I just knew it. And so, you know, this industry is all about people. It's about tradesmen, tradeswomen. It's about contractors and subcontractors. You know, and my life's whole journey has been relationships. And this job's no exception, guys. No exception.
Yeah, you're, like I said, like we started off, you're in the business of people, right? So you're just bringing that same,
absolutely,
all like knowing you for this while now, bringing all that experience to this company.
This is a culmination of my life right here. I mean, I have been being groomed by the church, by being a youth minister, by being a father, by just being a business person for years. So bring it.
Yep, exactly.
Bring it.
What's your official title with the company?
I am the People Ready Skilled Trades Account Manager for New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. And we take care of covering the northern region of this country.
Yeah, the country.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people.
Nationwide.
Yeah, we're nationwide. We're nationwide. I mean, we're global, but I take care of the New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. I take care of the New England region, and very happy to do that for this company.
Yep. Nice. So speaking of that, you know, I have my company, electrical contractor.
Yep.
And, you know, you go way more beyond that though. Like what are some of the other industries you worked in, and what brought you to kind of come over to People Ready?
So I have been working I grew up in the heavy construction industry, and I was exposed to the building industry through my father. My father was a heavy equipment operator for about 50 years, God rest his soul. And he brought me into farming, of all things, from the time I was 11 till I was about 16.
Is that how you got so big?
Well, you know what? I got big because I was working in heavy construction.
Like the Hulk. He was huge.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
That farm boy body, man.
I had definitely been laboring all my life. Yeah, absolutely. And I started out at 11 on a 400-acre turkey farm. You know? 400-acre turkey farm. They had over 100,000 birds a year we'd go through. And from the time I was 11 till I was 16, that's what I was doing. It was farming. And, of course, I was already exposed to the heavy construction industry. And from there, I went into a vocational school in Andover, Greater Lawrence Vocational, and studied commercial art. And so I got into commercial printing. I got into commercial photography. And, of course, I got into graphics. And I owned Demers Sign Company for a little over 25 years and raised a beautiful family off of it.
Yeah, you could tell. Like, I remember, funny enough, when you showed me a lot of your work, we were actually here. Remember I brought you in? I wanted to show you the spot, so it's kind of surreal being here now.
I'm pretty proud of that portfolio. Absolutely.
It's amazing. Yeah. Like, that's when I realized, too, I was like, man, this guy Don, he's not just some guy helping me find, electricians and everything. I was like, he's more than, like, you're an artist, man. Like, I told you that. You're an artist.
Well, it's funny. My father kept kicking me. Believe it or not, my father kept kicking. I wanted to follow my father's footsteps. I always thought my dad was a maverick. You know what I mean? And didn't realize the depth of what he had going on in his life until I got older. But I mean, he was always trying to kick me out of it. I said, Dad, why do you keep throwing me out of this business? As you teach all of my friends, you're giving them tools, you're setting them up. And my father would look at me and go, son, listen. He says, I can teach you this all day long. There's so much you already know. He says, but God gifted you with art. He says, you got to follow that, man.
And you're very creative. I could
Yeah. You got to follow that. You have been gifted. So, I listened to him. I mean, he kept me busy in construction so I could earn a living. He got me started. And thank God, because I owned a commercial sign shop. So I needed the carpentry that I learned. I needed the masonry that I learned, and all of those trade skills that I had learned. I needed all of them to be able to do that craft. Because I was carving wood. I was sandblasting. I was the old school painter. I mean, I was doing signs long before they had the computers. So I had to learn how to do paper patterns. I had to learn how to hand paint. I was doing gold leaf work. So I was just doing some really, really high-end stuff.
Yeah, not just that, but you were doing stuff with, like, what was that story you told me with, it was like the stained glass, you know what I mean? And then, like, you did stuff with electricity. So, like, you were more than just a painter and carpenter. Like, you were doing electricity and stuff. Like, it was crazy.
I was doing a little bit of what Andrew does.
Yeah, we can go on forever on this.
I had a customer, StarMed. I had a customer that wanted a prism effect off of the star.
That's what it was.
And what I did is I went out and had this three-dimensional star made, right? And it was all polished, so it was mirror-like, right? And they wanted the prism effect. So all I did was I set up on the ceiling 4 lights with the primary colors, each at a different angle. And when it hit the letters, which I set off the wall about 6 inches, every single shadow was the color of the light.
Oh, that's cool.
They flipped.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really go all in. When you have me design stuff, because I was a design builder, right? I was all in, buddy. I used whatever resource would give me the effect that I thought my customer was looking for.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's just to touch on that a little bit more. That's what I loved about when I met you. And I started to realize all the different things you bring to the table. Just to go back to it, like, I know I can call you, and because of your background, we might even get into other stuff. Like, hey, Don, I got you on the phone. Can I pick your brain real quick? And you're like, and you're always willing to help, and I think that's why you're so successful in this, what you do, is because you're just always helping people. Like,
right.
You'll bend over backwards, man. Like, whenever I call you,
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of things I'm not distracted by. If you go into my house, there's no TV, there's no stereo. I don't have cable at my house. It's all about people for me. I'm a people person. I pay attention to my wife. I pay attention to my kids. I have a lot of people that count on me. You know what I mean? So getting to know people is, honest to God, it sounds corny, but getting to know people long before I came to People Ready Skilled Trades is how I was groomed and brought up. It really was. So to be at this job is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is.
Feel like work sometimes or not?
Every job is work.
Does it feel like it though sometimes?
No. For me, when I'm in front of, I'm at my best right now.
Yeah.
I'm at my best when I'm in front of my contractor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take away some of the mundane stuff that you have to do at the office, and you put me in front of my customer. Sit down and count the money. You know what I mean? That's how I am.
What do people misunderstand about you the most?
Actually, believe it or not, people misunderstand my commitment. I am totally, when I take on a task, 110% in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm in so much that I lose track of space and time.
Yeah.
I've gotten into
Believe it.
I've gotten involved in projects, and I just go late into the night before I realized, or I'll just all of a sudden I'll wake up and I'll be like looking around, going, "Crap, I'm still in my clothes, I'm still in my shop, or I'm still in my office."
Yep.
I'm like, "Crap, like the time has just passed me," you know.
Yeah.
I will literally work till I fall asleep.
Oh, that's a good question, because you're right. Like, I misunderstood it, not in the sense that I didn't think you were capable. I didn't think you would go that hardcore. Like, when I told you I got that potential lead in Vermont, and I was like, I'm trying to get a hold of this guy, and you were like, I will drive out there to knock on people's doors. I will, and I'm like, man, this guy's incredible, man. Like,
Well, you know what? I got that strong work ethic from, learning how to get the job done from my father.
you know, we talked about what people misunderstand about you. What about People Ready? Like, when you're talking to contractors and whatnot, like, what are some of the misconceptions they have about People Ready?
Well, when people think of People Ready, they often think only of our on-demand general labor solutions, when in fact, we also have a specialized division called People Ready Skilled Trades, of which I work for. I work for them. And we are well known for our skilled trade staffing solutions. We offer to our contractors, our subcontractors all over the country.
What's a favorite story to tell about yourself?
Well, the favorite story for me, when I was about 13, I entered into the Franciscan Seminary in Andover, Mass, to discern about becoming a priest. As a cradle Catholic, our family was a large part of Sacred Heart Church in Lawrence, Mass. And my grandparents on my father's side were a massive large part of the Sacred Heart Marist Brothers boarding school in Andover, Mass. So much so that when my father was a little boy, they actually lived in the basement of the boarding school because my grandmother and grandfather were the cooks, the brothers. So, I mean, I grew up in the church. I really did. I grew up in the church, and that's all I knew. My father took us to Mass every week. Every week. It was get up early with my dad. He was at the 7 o'clock Mass. So you were out of bed at like 5:30 in the morning, you know? But it was the discernment that took about 3 months of meetings and prayer. And finally, brother had told me that he saw my vocation as being a husband and a father to a family. Oh, wow. Yeah, absolutely. And I met my wife in high school. I met her in high school. I left that, and, God didn't want me to be a priest, and my vocation was going to be marriage. So I found Lois, my beautiful wife, in high school as a young man. And 46 years later, here I am.
Wow.
I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a pet bear, may we, to some beautiful grandchildren, And it's that feeling of pride that I get seeing my family succeed. It's the similar feeling of pride, when I get people out to work. And I say that because, my father, and I think about my dad, God rest his soul, it was his hard work, and it was how he brought me onto the job. So, my father was my first teacher. My father was my first staffer. Yep. He staffed me. He brought me right into the industry. He taught me everything he knew. And the rest is history, bro. The rest is history.
If you don't mind me asking, is he still alive, or?
No, I God rest his soul. He passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. But the man was a maverick.
I think now, looking at it, like, you're like this blend, right, of you're still in the trades in a sense. You've been through obviously all your life.
Yep.
And then now you're using like your creativity, and you're using so much. I just I feel like he'd be proud of you. You know what I mean? Like, seeing what you're doing.
I have to say, my father worked in the union. He was local 4 for 50 years. And of course he pulled me in to the union, and I was in heavy construction as a pipe layer. I was part of Local 175 at the time. And we worked side by side. My father and I worked side by side for years, and I can't tell you the value of being able to work with your dad, doing something that was honestly really cool.
Yeah.
He ran big pieces of heavy equipment. He was running D11s. I was running a 790 Cat end dump. You know what I mean? We were pulling some serious dirt. They would move hundreds of thousands of yards on projects.
Yeah.
And I grew up around all of that heavy equipment. I grew up with the diesel smell in my nose, boys.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I remember, so my dad, he serviced commercial dishwashers, so he was always constantly going inside of restaurants and stuff. And, you know, maybe that's part of my downfall. He was always bringing home delicious food, and I just wanted to eat it all. But I remember, like in high school, you know, before I decided to get into the media gig, you know, it was, what am I going to do with my life? And, you know, your dad is like, come right along with me for a little while. And so there was just, you're right, that thrill of always wanting to go to work with your dad. It was best feeling in the world.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed from that was, you know, kind of like that stability, security of it. Like, you know, because, you know, I'm an artist first, right? But then, like, I talked to my grandfather, like, and I was like, it's not for me. I kind of like doing it for myself, but I want to learn a skill. And he was like, you know, have we ever not been able to afford food and, you know, have a roof overhead, pay the bills? I was like, no. And he goes, you know, I learned a skill, you know what I mean? And it'll never go away.
It's a gift from God.
Yeah. So he's like, if you want to have stability in this always up and down world, economy, whatever, he's like, you learn a skill and just run with that, you know? And then, you know, look at me now, I got a business now because of it. And so, like you said, put people to work, changing lives. Like me and you both, like, we got some big plans, right? We're trying to put hundreds of people to work. And it's great knowing that, like, I can call you and you can get me those people. And those are hundreds of individual people with families, you know, responsibilities, all this stuff. So it's, I don't know, I can go on and on, but it's just such a great feeling to do something like that, man.
Absolutely. And I can totally relate. I mean, to be a part of the True Blue family with people ready skilled trades, man, I've got a massive engine behind me. And it's an exciting thing to know that, you know, when I stand in front of a contractor and that I have that vast network. I mean, that's power. That's power right there. Yeah.
Speaking of, like, I got a twofer for you.
Uh-oh.
So, because, you know, you've done a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? And, you know, like all of us, right? Like, we all make mistakes. You know, and some of them are little, some of them kind of leave an impact on you.
Oh, yeah.
During that time, like, can you think of one, of a failure, like a mistake you made or a failure you made, and like, what did you learn from it?
The person that I will not mention, I loved. He was part of a family. He really was. And the big mistake that I made was not trusting myself. I had already started Demers Sign Company. I was already showing great success. I was already actually raising 2 daughters when I started it on my own. You know what I mean? Like, my wife and I was on my own with the company, and I was already starting to raise 2 daughters. And we started, because the business was doing so well, I was going from doing commercial graphics and signs into actually doing like restorations and remodels and design build remodels. And he came to me with skills. I was already hiring him to work with me as a skilled tradesperson. And so my partner, I pulled in this business partner, and I have to tell you, it was probably the worst mistake. It was absolutely the worst mistake that I made. It really was. It was one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn about people and business. It really was. And, you know, I had all the skills. I had the talent. I had the ability, but I didn't have the confidence. And so I pulled him in. And it was a battle. I mean, I came out of it a better me for the experience, but I learned to trust myself, all right? And I definitely learned to be confident. And that's what I'm bringing to the table today. I bring that to the table, those 2 life skills for people ready skilled trades every day. Every day.
So speaking of that, to go back to that real quick, you know, have anybody starting a business, or, you know, they have a business partner, what kind of advice would you give for someone thinking about maybe getting a business partner, going to business with somebody? You know, what can they learn from your mistake?
It's a good question.
Thinking about that.
You know, I'm not going to speak on that too much, only because I didn't have the background. I just should have trusted myself. I honestly should have.
Well, trust your gut,
and trust my gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I didn't, and I've learned from that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, yeah, no, that you're right. I mean, half the time when I'm making like that toss-up decision,
I
don't go with
want
my
to
gut.
give anybody business advice
to work out,
because you know what, my whole thing is about people and relationships. I mean, that's my superpower.
Yeah.
I'm not here with a massive business acumen. I'm here because I know how to talk to people. I know how to build relationships. I know how to find you. Yeah. So, Ed, you know what I mean?
Well, see, there it is right there.
I'm just telling you.
I can tell you what I'm taking it from someone who's always learning from you, right?
Yep.
Like every time we meet up, I learn something from you.
Yep.
And so what I'm taking from that, you know, is the whole, like what we always talk about, like those people skills, right? Like once you develop that, at least for me, I become more confident, you know, because I'm naturally an introvert. And so I guess, you know, what I took from it is kind of develop your people skills, just get really good at building those relationships, trust your gut.
You want to know someone who was an introvert? I came from Florida I went to Florida in the late 60s, came back from Florida in the early 70s, and I was a blonde-headed, green-eyed little kid, all right? And I was coming into New England at, I don't know, first grade, second grade. I was quiet. I was introverted. I was everything. I mean, so much so that I actually got bullied. I mean, I got really, really bullied as a kid, and it was not a great feeling. It's so much so that I would read these cartoon magazines, stuff like that, and on the back was the Atlas Bodybuilder, right? And I would always read that one, if you were big and strong, no one was going to screw with you. And honest to God, I took that to heart. I ran with it. Man, I started building my body, building my mind, and I forced myself to be an extrovert. I forced myself to be where I am today.
Yep.
I mean, with all the butterflies and whatever it takes to sit in front of a camera or sit in front of a mic, I made it happen.
Yep.
Because the alternative to that was to still be stuck to the wall, that little kid. And I just pushed forward. I pushed through it, man. I just pushed through it.
Yeah. Something you said about the, you kind of imagined yourself in that position, right? Like, you reminded me, I read some just yesterday. It says, he said he projected himself into the future, and then he worked toward bringing that projection into reality.
That's
exactly
me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've done that all my life. Yeah. I've always envisioned myself doing something and then working to go get it, and learning from positive thinking and from my faith that, if you put your mind to it, it's going to happen.
Yep.
You just have to put your mind to it and just push through it.
Yep. And then take action too,
Take action.
Yeah.
And you're going to fail.
Yep.
Failure is actually healthy.
Yep, it is.
It's how are you going to gauge success if you don't know what failure feels like or even looks like?
Yep.
How do you gauge it?
Yep. You just correct course.
You just correct course.
Exactly.
Businesses do that all the time.
Yep.
They change it up. They need to mix it up. I mean, how are they going to make money? How are they going to keep growing?
Yep.
You can't even scale a business. You can't even scale a business without understanding that.
All right, so let's talk People Ready Skilled Trades, right? It's a True Blue company. Who is True Blue?
Well, as a part of a True Blue family, we can leverage True Blue's vast resources, experience, and technology and expertise. True Blue allows us to deliver solutions and value to our clients in ways that other local or national companies just cannot match.
So where does True Blue come into play with People Ready?
True Blue is our parent company, all right? And I'm one of 5 divisions. With People Ready Skilled Trades, I'm one of the 5 divisions. So True Blue handles us not only nationwide, but also globally.
So I have my next question up, but I want to touch on a couple of things real quick because before we hopped on here, I was talking to Kris about that, and I wanted to kind of just see some of the stuff that People Ready have accomplished last couple of years. And a couple of things I just want to list off before I ask my next question because it's kind of related. It says you guys, People Ready was ranked number 1 in Staffing Industry Analyst's largest industrial staff firms for 2023. They also were featured in Fortune 100 fastest growing companies in 2022. They were named Newsweek's 2023 America's Most Responsible Company list. So I just wanted to throw a couple of things out there.
I mean,
that's pretty freaking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man,
that's awesome.
So I might have answered the question.
They'll love to hear that you know all of that stuff.
I'm telling you, man. And so I guess my question is why should a business use People Ready Skilled Trades? What are the benefits and conveniences, I guess, using Don going with People Ready?
Well, you know what? Businesses across the country are seeing growing skilled trades worker shortage. Growing interest among our customers is accessing a skilled workforce. People Ready Skilled Trades offers access to qualified, passionate, and reliable tradespeople across various industries. This approach minimizes hiring challenges, reduces risk, and supports customer productivity.
Nice. That's that's all great. So the next thing I guess I would say is let's say they're like, all right, great, I want to go with you. What does the recruitment process look like? Like they need, let's say it's a carpenter, you know what I mean? Or you can go electrician if that's easier too, but like walk us through that step. What is it like once they call you or reach out to your team, reach out to you? What happens next?
Well, our sign-up process is seamless and efficient. And with a comprehensive assessment of our skills, experience, and career goals. Then we just match these people with the job. And we just match their needs.
Yeah, and
I mean, it's that simple. It's really not. It's not complicated. I have a phenomenal team. I have a service department that takes care of dispatching and making sure payroll's where it needs to be, and dealing with the associates, the tradespeople directly in that capacity. And I have a wonderful recruiter that's constantly sourcing and looking for new people and bringing people on, and even reactivating people, because we have a vast network. You know what I mean? It's not always just hiring new, but it's utilizing the people that want to work with us.
Yeah,
it really is.
And I want to touch on that very specific part of when you go out and find these people. Like, you sit down and I bring a project to you, and it's something very specific, like like the Tesla power walls or lighting. What I love about what you do is you ask me, like, not just like what's the scope of work, but you're like, who are you looking for personality wise? Like. Are you looking for strengths? So you're not just sending me anybody. Like, I love that you'll go out there and try to find me a very specific type of person. And I don't get that from other trade type places that are approaching me to find me people. It's very just throw a body at you. But you do it a little differently. Like, you care about who you're sending my way.
Well, and that care has been going on for years. So, when I was in the interview process with People Ready Skilled Trades, I was telling them that. I says, you've got a guy here who's been in the heavy construction, building construction for 45 years. I mean, I've been doing this for 45 years in New England. So it's like, New England's my backyard. There's no other place. Like, I'm not going to take this down, down to the Southeast or the Southwest. I'm not taking it down there. I'm here in my backyard doing something that's completely in my wheelhouse and my skill set. And so when I'm talking to you about who you need on the job site, I already understand what you do as an electrical company, as an electrician. So I just want to know what the actual skill set is, because you're hiring my guy to help your crew, to help you get to the next step. Does he need to bend EMT? What is he going to be working with? Metal stud? Is he doing residential? Is he doing commercial?
Yep.
What set of hand tools should he be bringing with him?
Yep.
What is the skill set that you need that you're going to pay our company to make sure that you can get your job done?
Love that level of detail. Love that level of detail. Yeah, it's very important, because it should be a compliment to the operation, not a detriment, And if you get that part wrong, you get the weakest link in there, like, unintentionally now, and all of a sudden the project starts going sideways. So I love it, man. I love it.
It's awesome.
Let's talk about the flexible staffing here for a minute. Tell me about the flexible staffing model that People Ready Skilled Trades shares to support businesses for perfect workforce.
Well, our flexible staffing means that we offer customizable staffing, solutions tailored to each client's needs. Absolutely. We have a workup program, and it's one of them. Our workup program is one of our best right now that we're promoting. Two main benefits of this is that we can scale that workforce up and down depending on the demand and minimize overhead costs and operational efficiency. And our workup program takes people who are already career-minded, who have been learning a trade, who are serious about being in construction, and that workforce development program helps match that career person to the customer, the contractor.
All right, Don. So why should a business use People Ready Skilled Trades, and what are the benefits of using People Ready?
Well, Ed, businesses across the country are seeing a growing skilled trades worker shortage. Growing interest amongst our customer in accessing a skilled workforce. People Ready Skilled Trades offers access to qualified, passionate, and reliable tradespeople across various industries. This approach minimizes hiring challenges, reduces risk, and supports customer productivity.
I mean, I've been a happy customer, so...
Hey, listen, I'll try to keep you that. I'm definitely trying to keep you that way, brother.
Yeah, and what I love is that, like, you can keep that same consistency on a little job all the way up to big job. And
I used to tell my customers when I was selling it. I used to say to them all the time. I says, "Listen, I don't care if the job is $25 or $25,000. You're going to get the same level of service out of me, because I learned early that those $25 jobs or those small jobs were the test as to whether you were going to be able to do more work for them."
Yep.
So I always treated even the smallest opportunity like it was the biggest.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why we get along so well, because at Ion Electrical, like, we have the same philosophy. It's like, I don't care if we're putting a little outlet or we're doing a whole lazy boy.
You're out there.
Lighting.
I had a customer.
Still there.
I had a customer come up to me. It was a sign that was in my town that I lived in, And he said, I really want you to repaint my sign and stuff like that and do this and do that. And I said, well, your sign, looks like somebody did it amateur. Like, you want me to repaint that sign? He goes, yeah, I just want you to repaint that sign. I said, I'm sorry, sir. I said, I cannot repaint that sign. I says, my truck is lettered with my name on it. I'm a professional in this industry. I says, if you would like, I'll give you a great price. I do know that this is a charitable organization, okay? I'll give you a good price, but I'm not going to work on that sign. I says, not with my truck and myself out there in the street. So gave him a good price. Just said, listen, you want me a new sign? I'll get you a new sign.
All right, so Don, so let's talk about local recruiting. So New Hampshire has a 1.8% or 14,000 total unemployment rate as of August 2023. And that came straight from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So obviously, that doesn't leave much room of a margin for a workforce. What are the benefits of a temporary workforce, and how do people ready to utilize this interesting concept to meet the demands of a growing workforce shortage?
A temporary workforce provides flexibility and agility. The result? Businesses can adapt to changing market conditions quickly. At People Ready Skilled Trades, we leverage our network of skilled workers. The benefit? We mobilize talent quickly. Help companies address a workforce shortage and maintain that productivity. You know what? When you break New Hampshire up into parts, southern New Hampshire is very dense. It's a very, very dense area, allowing these businesses to trade from the same labor pool with far more success than their counterparts from the north. And the north begins above Lake Winnipesaukee, all the way to Canada, with Vermont and Maine on either side. This is where you separate those staffing companies from the staffers. You have to build relationships. You got to pay your dues. And you got to put your time in.
Absolutely.
And like I've said before, I've put in over 45 years in New England, being in heavy construction and being a business owner. So
yeah. And one thing I always pick up from your conversation, or like our conversations, is like you're always thinking like long game, the relationship long game. You're like, Edward, I want to be doing business with you in like 10, 20 years. You know what I mean? And so again, it's the relationship side, and we've been talking for a while. So like you said something earlier about paying your dues. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it definitely is about that.
Some of the best deals that you're going to make in life will be because you built the relationship first. You actually paid attention to who you're in front of, understand their business, and speak to the person. Speak to the person first. Yep. The rest of it's going to fall into place. Yep. You want to get into the business mantra. You want to be able to tell them about this and that offer and this, but do not regurgitate that on day one. Shake the person's hand. Say hello. Now you do. Look them in the eyes. Say hello, and you will go places.
Yep.
That's a skill I feel like a lot of newer generations don't have. That skill, that human contact, looking them directly in the eye and speaking to that person.
They already feel entitled. That's the reason why they're losing that skill. They already feel entitled. They're coming into the situation sometimes with the wrong attitude.
That's true.
They don't understand that to get where you want to go in life, you've got to build relationships. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's business, family.
That's so important.
It's building those relationships. I mean, you would have never gotten married, Ed, if you didn't build that relationship with your wife. You just wouldn't have happened.
Part of the problem too is I think right now they're saying, we're like, what do they say? Like we're in this gig economy. So everybody just kind of is looking for that quick DoorDash, real quick jobs. Where a lot of the newer people coming into the workforce, they're not looking for like long-term careers. And so that's why I think like what we're doing is important, because the average age of an electrician, I think, is like 58 or something, so we need more people coming in. If that means coming through you to get someone that we end up like loving, driving with the team. And we've talked about stuff like that, right?
Listen,
so
you know what? I'm in my 60th year. And the way I look at it, retirement is something that's coming up quick for me. And I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm paying it forward. I am literally willing to teach anybody anything that I have from my 45 years of experience if they want to know about it.
Yep.
I mean, it's that point in time now where you need to pay these skills forward so that the next generation of people who either want to be a good tradesperson or in business for themselves understand that they've learned this from somebody who's already been through it.
What are some of the challenges that people are facing right now, and how are you guys as a team overcoming it?
Good question.
Well, it's an obvious one for us. One of the biggest challenges is the supply of those skilled workers.
Yeah.
And how are we addressing that shortage? The main way for us right now is our workup program, where we are upskilling general laborers to trade people for our customers. In addition, we are continuing to invest in many other ways to ensure that we can attract, retain, and deploy top talent.
So according to the People Ready website, there are over 25,000 other staffing agencies nationwide. What sets People Ready apart from all those others?
What sets People Ready apart is our unwavering commitment, delivering exceptional value, service excellence to our clients and workers. We are the experts in the skilled trade staffing with a sterling reputation that we've earned over 30 years of connecting businesses with qualified, reliable tradespeople. Our connection to the larger People Ready company and True Blue's global family of brands means that we have the infrastructure and the resources to take on jobs that will help your business grow, no matter where, when, or how many tradespeople that you need. To wrap it up in a single sentence, guys, our extensive industry experience, robust infrastructure, and customer-centric approach makes us stand out as a trusted partner for the businesses seeking reliable, skilled staffing solutions.
Thank you, Don, for being a guest of the Talking Trades podcast. Listeners, please reach out to Don and People Ready Skilled Trades if you're in a staffing crisis or looking to bridge the gap between needing a temporary position filled and hiring a full-time position, or if you're looking for more information on temporary workforce, which this is a very interesting concept. So Don, if listeners have any questions or would like to get a quote from you, how can they contact you?
Well, guys, you can reach me at 603-273-6585. Leave a message or text me with your contact information, or you can email me at ddemers@peopleready.com. Again, that's DDEMERS@peopleready.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn under Donald Demers, and make sure to follow People Ready Skilled Trades on all major social media platforms.
Done.
On behalf of myself and People Ready Skilled Trades, thank you, Kris and Ed and Andrew, for your continued support.
Don, I would for sure love to have you back and continue our important conversations about the workforce and how people skilled trades can help bridge that gap, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely want you back, bro.
And on behalf of the company, we would love to do that.
Yes.
Love to do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As always, I am your host, Kris Levesque, owner of New Horizon Media Inc., where the new is NU. Please go onto our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and give a like and follow for updates and behind the scenes. Edward, where can you be found?
Find us on facebook.com/Ion Electrical LLC. From there, you should be able to find the rest of our social media, and I guess the other one would be the website. You know, we just had our boy James redo the website. So
Live free digital.
www.ionelectricalllc.com. www.ionelectricalllc.com. Go see it, please, because I'm trying to get my SEO up.
Listeners, if you like this episode, please leave a review and give 5 stars if you're feeling generous over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, keep on talking trades. Today's podcast is brought to you by Junk in Our Trunk, your go-to junk removal specialist serving central New Hampshire and beyond. With over 10 years of experience, they offer fast, reliable, and affordable services tailored to meet your needs. Whether it's residential clutter, commercial waste, estate cleanouts, or in-state hauling and moving, Junk in Our Trunk is committed to providing top-notch services with a 100% satisfaction rate. They pride themselves on their transparent pricing, environmental responsibility, and being a local, family-owned business. Ready to reclaim your space? Contact Junk in Our Trunk today for your free estimates. Experience hassle-free junk removal and join their community of satisfied customers. Don't let clutter hold you back. Choose Junk in Our Trunk for a cleaner and more organized life.